5 signs you are too nice and how to stop. How to stop being so nice, man. All right, being nice has many meanings. It could just mean you're polite, could mean you're kind, it could mean you help other people. Those things are all great. But when you're too nice, it could lead to you being burned out, to doing things you don't want to do all the time, to end up resenting the people, the very people who you are supposedly being nice to. After I go into the 5 signs that you are being too nice, I'll give you some tips on how to stop being too nice and set some healthy boundaries. And then make sure you watch to the very end of the video because that's where I have, I think, my most important truth bomb. The first sign that you are too nice is that you take on responsibility for other people's emotions and their lives. Now, we might just think we're being empathetic, right? I'm an empath, so I have to take on this stuff. But it might also be we learned as children that in order to get by, we have to put either our parents or our guardian or other people in the family's emotions above our own. We got to make sure that their emotions are taken care of, ours don't matter so much. From a personality perspective, it might also be that you're high in openness to experience, which is a trait that allows you to easily put yourself into someone else's shoes, to imagine what it's like to be living their life and feel their emotions, which can then lead us to take responsibility for their emotions. The number 2 sign that you are too nice is that you say yes to everything. You don't want to do something, oh well, you're going to say yes anyway. It's like you say yes automatically without thinking. Now, it could be you were raised to think that saying no is bad. Or on the flip side of that, you might think that saying yes will get people to like us. So that's one of the dark sides of being too nice, is that it's actually kind of manipulative. Or from my personality perspective, we might be high in agreeableness, which is a trait where we are more likely to go along with what other people want to do rather than our own internal decisions. Now, really quick, before we continue, if you're enjoying this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this or if you have other ideas. And if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that button. Okay, the number 3 sign that you are too nice, which is a big one, a whammy, if you will, is that you feel intense guilt and or anxiety when you just think about saying no, setting a boundary. The first part of it is you might feel guilty because you feel like you're being weak, especially if you're in a pattern of constantly saying yes to everything. It's just weak for me to say no because I could do it. It might be going back to childhood conditioning as well, where we learned that if we said no, we were being bad. The stuff we learned in childhood carries through to adulthood. It's very strong. We might also be projecting into the future, and this is what can cause a lot of the anxiety. We do like mental rehearsals of what it'll be like if we say no, if we set a boundary. And a lot of times those mental rehearsals are trying to prepare us for the worst thing that could happen, and so we just assume the worst thing is going to happen. The number 4 sign that you are too nice is that you are afraid of other people's disapproval and disappointment, perhaps even them abandoning you if you say no and set a boundary. So like I said in the last point, we might catastrophize what will happen if we set a boundary. Everything's going to go wrong, my life will be over, everyone's going to abandon me, they'll never talk to me again, that sort of thing. Or we might assume this is really going to hurt this other person's feelings if I set a boundary. Especially if we're used to just always dropping everything to be there for other people, they could actually express being hurt that you're not there for them, which makes it even tougher when it's like, I'm a little bit right, their feelings will be hurt. This could also be affected by high trait neuroticism, where we have a high sensitivity to negative emotion. We have anticipatory anxiety for future events. When something could go negatively, we are much more quick to pick up on that. All right, now the number 5 sign. You are too nice. And after I go through this last point, I'll get into tips on how to set healthy boundaries and stop being too nice. Number 5 is you equate being nice with being a good person and this is wrapped up in your identity. So we might have gotten the message somewhere along the way in our life that if you set boundaries and say no and are disagreeable from time to time, then you are not nice. And being not nice means you are not good. I mean, think back to childhood. How often did not nice mean bad? Remember how I said you might be feeling guilt and anxiety? Sometimes when that happens, not sometimes, like almost all the time, when that happens, we assume, oh, that's a sign that I am doing the wrong thing, that I am being bad. Why would I feel guilty unless I was being bad? And I think a lot of people want to be good people, right? I mean, most people, I would assume, want to be good. But when your definition of good is being nice, and when your idea of being nice is having no boundaries, and all this is wrapped up in who I am, I'm a good person, at least that's what I want to be, it just sets you up to be perpetually in this bad pattern that is leading you towards burnout and resentment. So what we have to do, obviously, is set boundaries and be firm about it. First up, stop automatically saying yes. Practice saying no. And this might be something you actually have to set aside some time and be like, all right, for this day, or for this week, I'm just gonna say no. And it's gonna feel like you're being a bad person, right? Those feelings of guilt are gonna start coming up. But having boundaries, saying no, not jumping whenever anyone needs anything, or when at least you interpret that they need it, that doesn't make you a bad person, right? Think about when you're on an airplane and they're doing the pre-takeoff emergency speech that no one really listens to. And they're saying, in the event that this mask comes down and everyone's freaking out, make sure that you put your mask on yourself first before you put it on the child that you're traveling with. Because if you put it on them first and you don't have enough oxygen, you're gonna pass out. And then what's gonna happen to the kid? Not gonna have his parent there, right? So you need to put it on yourself first. Make sure you're taken care of, and then slap that mask on that other person. In the same way, setting boundaries is just about making sure that I am good, I am functioning fully as a human being, so that then I can go and help other people, and I can be nice. Because the key to setting boundaries isn't just saying no to everything. The key is recognizing responsibilities. What are other people's responsibilities? What are my responsibilities? What are not my responsibilities? And I gotta take care of my responsibilities first, prioritize that, and then maybe I can go and help other people with what they're dealing with. But if I'm neglecting what I am responsible for, and I'm constantly interpreting that I am responsible for other people's stuff, it's just like in the plane, you without your oxygen mask, but you're trying to put the mask on everyone else, you're gonna pass out. You're gonna get hypoxia up there, man. And it's not about just setting boundaries, but it's about communicating it to other people, because if you don't do that, then they're just gonna assume that they can just keep going in that old pattern of you always dropping everything to do everything for them. They might give you some pushback at first, right? They might say, dude, why are you being a jerk? I thought I could depend on you to do everything for me. I need you to pick up my lunch at Chipotle. Why didn't you do that for me this time? Right? But that's okay. Like, just because they're making an adjustment, and just because they might bristle a little bit at first at you suddenly setting a boundary, doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. I mean, if anything, it just means that you took too long. You know, it's been so long of you being totally agreeable and just doing whatever for anyone that they don't know how to make sense of your place in their life right now. And that's okay. They just need to adapt to, oh, you have boundaries. And eventually they'll be like, okay, I get it. If you stick to them, if you don't give in to those feelings of guilt and I'm a bad person and all that, eventually people get used to it and they're okay with it. And in fact, they'll learn to respect you more, because when you are too nice and you don't have boundaries, people lose respect for you. So ultimately, there's no drawback to these boundaries. And maybe Maybe you will have some friends who aren't real friends, who drop off, who drop by the wayside when you start to draw boundaries because they were only there because you didn't have boundaries, right? And even that, even if you lose those friends, who needs friends like that? It can only be a positive for you that you take care of yourself first. And it can only be a positive for the people around you because you can help them much better. You can be a much more positive force in their life if you are operating fully on all cylinders. You've taken care of yourself, you're ready to go. And I mean, if people get upset because you're setting boundaries, remember, their emotions are not your responsibility. Now, here's a big thing. If you start to feel guilt and anxiety when you're setting boundaries, that is a sign that you need to set the boundary. Because if you stop and you're like, oh, I feel guilty, I feel anxious, I'm just gonna violate my boundaries, I'm just gonna go ahead and say yes even though I don't want to, you are just reinforcing that feeling so that it's gonna come back next time, might even be stronger next time, it's gonna be harder to break that cycle. So you need to just face it, feel those feelings and realize that doesn't mean anything. Your feelings are not facts. Just because you feel guilty doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. Just because you feel anxious doesn't mean there's anything that you need to be afraid of. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay cool and attractive.